Hello everyone and welcome to the Zelda Cast here on ZeldaDungeon.net. My name is Andy Spiteri and I am joined by your friend of mine, Allison Aletha. What's up, Al? How are you?
I'm doing great. Better than last week, I'll tell you that. But doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, was last week the week where we came on and we were both kind of like frumpy and just kind of like, ugh?
Maybe, but like last week is when my like literally right before the show my glasses broke, so I was
Yeah.
like having a minute.
I
But
remember I came to one of the podcasts last week in a really bad, now that I say it, it was Omega. I came in in a
oh,
really bad mood for a lot of reasons. And then we had a show where we covered like the allegations of like horrible workplace conditions and crunch at Mercury Steam. So it was like even if it wasn't even like a fun show that could like kind of pull you out of it,
yeah. Oh, woof.
It wasn't the
Yeah,
Zelda
I don't
Cast
know
though.
about that.
We're
I
both
don't
wearing
think you were
glasses
crazy
today.
last week. Sorry, say that again.
We're both wearing glasses today, so we
We are. We're
yeah.
twinning.
Yeah. That's right. I usually don't
Mine are
wear
held together by
glasses.
glue though.
Well, so I actually went and got my glasses adjusted yesterday to accommodate for my ears because my ears are crooked. So I think if you're looking at me straight on, these should
They look
look
normal.
like straight.
Yeah. They look good.
I don't know
Should have
about
done that
good,
forever
but
ago.
I should have, yeah.
Yeah.
But say love me. Okay, we got a couple of cool things to talk about here today, and the main event for today, as promised a few weeks ago, I worked diligently on this for at least 2 to 3 hours. Is Age Age of Calamity, the Spiteri Cut. We are going to be presenting the rewritten story of Age of Calamity, but it uses the same general premise as the version that we have, and I've tried to keep it true to the spirit of Age of Calamity as well. So there's a bunch of time travel stuff in there as well, but it is canonical, Al, and it all kind of makes sense. So that is what I'm going to be pitching to Al today. We're going to
Okay.
see how receptive Al is of my Spiteri Cut here. So maybe at the end we can just talk and see, like, would you buy this game? Would you recommend it? Would you just like
Mhm.
thumbs down it in the eShop store? Like, we'll go over that and we'll see based on the story. But we got a couple other things that we should get to as well. And the first is that we should just plug. Man, our Discord has been an awesome place to be for the last week. You should come and you should join and you should talk Zelda with us because we basically had like a Survivor Series style brawl in the Discord about the ending of Tears of the Kingdom from our discussion last week. Lots of people. That was the talking point from last week. Is this ending good? Did it land, or was it retroactively cheap and felt not, I don't know, just not satisfying? So there was two camps that developed, and we had a lengthy debate, which I can't say ever got like too heated or anything like that. I just thought it was a nice kind of debate to get into. Poor Allison came in and there was like 200 messages that she missed.
Yeah, I
So
mean, I was there for the initial, like you and me, and then everybody else came in later, and I had been busy. So I come in and I'm like, what happened in here? Because I thought the discussion was over at that point. But no, like people tagged in, and I was so glad to see it. I haven't read all the messages, but I've read like Nicole's points. I've read some of the other points. I think like Charles made some points and stuff like that. So,
mhm.
like, I saw some of it, and I was actually like, even if people disagree with me or whatever, like, I came to a specific conclusion, and I was like glad to see that people were having like a discussion about it. But my
Yeah,
conclusion is that people feel more strongly about the intent, which is my camp, where I'm like, it's more about like the sacrifice that she made, the decision she made, whether she was going to survive or not. And you're more of like the outcome, like how does the end result kind of take away from the intent? So that's the
yeah.
conclusion I came to, and I think that's totally like understandable and acceptable. That's just how people like put value into certain things.
And I agree. Like, I actually don't think like anyone is wrong. Like, I don't think you're wrong. Like, in a bubble, it's a great moment, like a really great
Hmm.
moment, and it's just like I kind of use the analogy like if a wrestler retires or gets has like a match where if they lose they have to retire, which happens all the time. They have a great match, they lose and they retire, they have a great send off, and then they come back. Does it cheapen that great send off and great moment? Like, that's the analogy that I used.
Hmm.
And I think like too, like no one was like no one, at least on my camp, was like, well, we don't want Zelda to stay a dragon forever, but like, could they have done something to build up that return and something like that? I actually saw, I was saying to Al before we started recording, anybody watching us on video right now sees that Al is wearing a Targaryen t-shirt from Game of Thrones. And to me, I actually had to use an analogy, and this is going to be Game of Thrones spoilers here, okay? So skip ahead like a minute if you don't want to hear this. And this is going to really hurt to hear, and it's going to hurt Catherine when she hears. But that ending to me, you know what it reminded me of?
What?
It reminded me of when Daenerys just burned everybody for no reason on like a snap like that.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
I hear you.
I don't say that lightly, okay?
I think Catherine actually doesn't like what happened with Daenerys or the ending.
No, I know she doesn't. Yeah, I know she hates it.
Yeah.
I'm just assuming she likes the ending of Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
No, I haven't talked to her about it. She's been super busy with school, so I haven't asked her about it. So, yeah, maybe. Technically this is a House of the Dragon shirt. I'm supporting Team Black, which is the black side, not the green side, whatever. Anyways, I technically really like that show compared to Game of Thrones. I like House of the Dragon a lot, and like I think it's because it's more like bubble versus like so many characters in Game of Thrones that you have to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what?
Anyway,
I love
I got
Game
this
of Thrones,
shirt thinking
man.
about Catherine. I was like, she'll love it.
Yeah. Up until like I was one of those people. So I watched Game of Thrones like late, and I loved it. Like I would even go so far as to say like the first 6 seasons I really enjoyed. Like season 6 and 5 I thought were like okay, but but still like pretty good. And I watched the ending and I was like, oh yeah, you know, that was good. What did everyone complain about? And as time passed, I looked at myself one day. Sam and I were talking about Game of Thrones, and I was like, I didn't like the ending, and it's time that I have to admit it, because like you don't want to feel like you've wasted your time, right? So you're like, of course, like yeah, the ending was great, but I did have to admit, I was like that stunk. It stunk. Yeah. Too bad.
Hard time overall. But yeah, that was a very, very fun discussion. I'm eager to see like what other input anybody else can bring to it, because some people brought up some good points that I didn't even think about. So yeah, that was a really fun time.
Okay, well, we did have some Age of Imprisonment news dropping this past week, where a new trailer came out, and for my money, like there wasn't like a ton of new information in the trailer. It kind of just was like a generic story trailer. It showed Rauru a little bit. I don't know. I'll be honest, actually, I've only watched it like once, so maybe I'll just kind of watch it while we go over it again. But I mean, there was definitely some like new cutscenes. Maybe like some. There's one point where like you see a hand holding a secret stone or something like that, and it kind of looks. I don't know what that is, actually, if it's a secret stone or not, but it kind of looks like Nog Ganondorf's hand. I don't know whose hand it is. Maybe that could be something, though.
My takeaway from the trailer, like, if we're just talking as a whole, because you're right, it's just kind of like a little teaser where you get to see a little bit more, but, like, again, not the meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
I feel like this was definitely a Rauru-focused trailer. Or teaser.
Oh, totally.
With a little bit more Ganondorf in it, and maybe we'll get to see the conflict between the two, like how they're just going to be like butting heads, right? We know that. But I think the focus for me was the fact that they're going to focus on hands again, which was like the thing in Tears of the Kingdom, right? Everybody like the power of friendship and teamwork and all that kind of stuff with the hands. Well, they're going to focus on that with this game again. That's what this trailer showed me. That and giving us like a tiny bit, like a teeny tiny bit more footage of the construct. There was a moment, I think, where like Zelda's hand is reaching for the construct and it like hesitates. So like I wonder if she's going to see similarities with Link in this construct. No idea. Probably. That's just a guess. And then also we got a name reveal too.
We did, and that came actually in a tweet that was after the trailer came out. But we do indeed have a name reveal for our little Korok friend, and his name. Are you ready for this?
I love it.
It's time for Age of Calamity. His name is Calamo.
I said Calamo.
You know, maybe it's Calamo. I don't know. I feel like Calamo just flows so nicely.
Let me get the vibe, Andy. What do you think of this name? Is it generic and dumb?
Yeah, I mean, they're all generic and dumb. I guess let me just put it this way. Like I feel like for me, this one is maybe less egregious because like this is a new character for sure, but like the sages, like they're new characters, but they're kind of not. Like they're in that weird little bubbles, and like I feel like we should have had pre-established, like at the very least, like names or something from them in Tears of the Kingdom. So I mean, this one's like whatever,
I think
whatever.
it's cute, Calmo.
And
I love it.
ironic, or not ironically, but just curiously, the description is Calamo, a boisterous Korok roaming Hyrule in search of a place to put down roots. I don't. I think that the option that this little dude is the Great Deku Tree could still maybe be on the table. Maybe.
Maybe his name is Calamo. We don't know.
Every single one of my theories so far has been just like squashed like a little bug. So this is the only one that still maybe has a little bit of life left.
Hmm.
Until we meet like the three goddesses, of course, and they transform into dragons. But that's
Yeah.
for another
Okay.
day. We also
Yeah.
got the name of that mysterious construct that we've been seeing in the trailers that resembles Link, and the name is Mysterious Construct.
I was gonna say. I was like, no.
So
Um,
there we go. The Mysterious Construct who could transform and
the
take to the
Transformers.
skies.
Yeah. And like in the teaser too, again, it kind of highlights that there's a connection between Calamo and the construct. Like they're together a lot. So I just wonder what their little story is, and I'm excited. The more we see, the more excited I get. This is dropped about 2 weeks before the game comes out, and yeah, I'm like the closer we get, the more excited I am.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you feel
Korok and
more
his
excited with this stuff that was announced versus the stuff that was announced at the month from the release, like back in early October?
um God, like I want to be careful because like I don't want to come on this show and be like lame and negative and anything like that. But I guess I will say like if I am being totally honest, I'm not like super looking forward. I'm gonna play it. I think it's gonna be fun. I think it'll have a fun story. But am I dying to play this? I can't say that I am. I can't say that I've been like really wowed with what we've seen, prior. Like I still, it kind of drives me nuts that like so many of our playable characters are like new and that we don't know anything about it. And at least for me, like I think the big draw of these warrior games, if you don't like the gameplay necessarily, is like connecting with that character. And it's a lot easier when you know the character at the beginning to establish that and connect with them, for me, than it is to like drop all these new characters in kind of cold and build that relationship up with them over the course of the game. So um like in terms of like the team up moves and stuff like that, I'm kind of just like whatever. Like I don't really play the Warriors games for the gameplay. They're not my preferred choice of games. So it really is about the story for me. And
Uh-huh.
that's where this game is going to live and die for me. Like if it tells a really great story, like I'll probably be very pleasantly surprised. But if it pulls another Age of Calamity, I'm just gonna be like, this could be it for me in these Warriors games. Like, so I guess I don't know. Like I'm keeping an open mind, but I can't say that like my loins are on fire here for this game.
Okay. All right. I guess that's good to know. I mean, like, I could totally understand that. The part I'm probably not looking forward to is like the grind. Normally I like the grind in games, but like
Yeah,
the Hyrule Warriors is a bit much. Though I do remember Age of Calamity not being as bad as the original Hyrule Warriors. So
totally.
hopefully it's about like the same length of time where it doesn't overstay. You know, we'll see if we'll get DLC for it, like we did for Age of Calamity. Have no idea. I don't know if this would necessarily need DLC, to be honest. But yeah, we'll see. I'm personally excited for the story, like that.
Yeah,
Like I feel the same amount of excitement that I did for Age of Calamity, but maybe just a tiny bit of hesitation because of what Age of Calamity did.
yeah.
But like I'm like, okay, I'm eager. I want this information. I want the story. I want these characters to like tell me their lives and what happened at this time. So I'm excited for that part. And I feel like that's a good
Yeah.
segue to talk about what Age of Calamity did to us and maybe how they could have done it different.
Well, we will get there. We will get there.
Oh man, I was like, dang, I really set that up.
Yeah, but you had a perfect segue. I got to give it to you. But I also wanted to give you a chance to talk about what you wanted to talk about before we got there.
Oh yeah, I was. Oh my gosh, I even forgot about that.
You cut out your own part there. I will say this, like, just to put a bow on that. I'm kind of with you. Like, I'm cautiously excited, I guess, in a way, but like I can't pretend that what happened with Age of Calamity does just give me pause,
right.
with this game, because like that was clearly marketed as a canonical story as well, which we'll obviously get to here, and so is this, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't trust it. So we'll see. We'll see.
I understand the feeling completely.
Now. You've been
the thing I wanted to bring up.
Yes, you're an exclusive member of a secret club.
So I've never done this before. Maybe other people have, so they understand this experience. But I signed up for the Kickstarter of the My Time series for the next game, the My Time at Evershine. And this is the third game in this series. Everybody knows that I love the first game. I really love the second game. And so when I saw that they were doing this for the third game, I was like, I'm going to support. Like, I want to help. And this group seems so like willing to listen and like take in feedback and change things for the better. Which I think other developers could learn from. But anyways, so I signed up for the Kickstarter where I could get early access to play like the very early access of this game, and they kind of record your playing, you like report bugs, you take notes, and you give feedback. And I think I thought that was like really cool, and I wanted to be a part of that for the series that I love so much. So I signed up for that, and that came out like a couple days ago. And admittedly, I haven't had a lot of time to play it, but like I'm really excited to like deep dive into it, and of course I can't give any details about what's going on, but yeah, I'm like, it's like really cool. And so far, like the growth that I've seen, even between, like, I talk about the growth between the first game and the second game being incredible, it's like even more incredible in the third game so far. And so I'm really excited about it. It's a lot of fun. It's even kind of fun to see like all the like the stuff that hasn't been fixed yet. Like, right. It's broken because it's just started. Right. So that's kind of been fun too. And yeah, I'm having a good time. So like, I don't know. I've just never done that before. And I think it's really exciting.
Answer this only if you can. Is this game, even in early access with bugs and everything like that we know are there, is this a better game than Tales of the Shire?
I don't think I can give that answer yet because I haven't spent enough time in it.
Okay.
Like, I like literally maybe an hour or two of gameplay versus like how many hours I have in Tales of the Shire.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's unfair.
Well,
I would say like the customization of the character is definitely better, but I don't know like if you needed a huge customization for a Hobbit. You know what I mean?
What if I want my Hobbit to be? Actually, let's just move on. So actually, and one other thing that we should talk about. We're gonna go like much more in depth into this when this list releases, but Al and I are privy to the new Best Zelda Ever list for 2025. That was a lot of fun. I'm excited to talk about that and get into that list. There's a lot of controversial picks and placements this year, I think.
Honestly, when I was watching, so I'm never around when Rod does that thing where or like you did the thing where you release it and everybody guesses. So I was around this time and I was like on it. I felt like I got the list this time compared to years in the past. So I was like, oh yeah, I got this. And I did. I got a lot of them right. So I was pretty excited about that.
There you go. Okay. All right. Well, I think then it's time. It's time, Al, for the main event. And this, there's a lot of pressure on me here, okay? Because I need to present this in an exciting and engaging way. So I'm gonna start off with a few pretexts to what I'm gonna talk about here today. So I have written Age of Calamity, the Spiteri Cut. And before I even say anything else, I do need to give acknowledgements because I did have this peer reviewed by my pal Nicole Scott, who gave me some really great suggestions. And I also went to our buddy, the resident lore officer, Charles Xavier, to make sure that I wasn't like totally out of bounds with some of these things here. I don't know if Charles is going to want his name attached to this or not afterwards, but
or Nicole.
And there was something. Yeah, you know what? I think Nicole is okay with having her name. I'm just gonna. Nicole's attached to this no matter what now, okay? But Charles, I do think that if he hears some of this and he's just like, oh god, then yeah, we'll let him off the hook here.
Okay.
So I kind of did the same thing as an Age of Calamity, and I referenced just the fandom kind of story recap here, and kind of kept it similar to like 7 main chapters. And what I'm gonna read out is gonna kind of be like a Wikipedia style summary here. So it's not gonna be like into the nitty gritty with like, like the dialogue necessarily, except where it absolutely matters. And then after we're done, I'm gonna go over and present what I feel like this story addresses as solutions to some of the problems that I had with not only Age of Calamity, but Breath of the Wild as well. And Al, you can probably know where I'm going with that. And additionally, I do have some notes that I want to just quickly go over that pertain to like the gameplay. Because I mean, this hypothetical story still is part of a video game, so there do have to be some accommodations to reflect that. Okay.
Okay.
Now, that being said, I just want to quickly recap what I believe the premise of Age of Calamity is and the main problems that present themselves. So here we go with the premise of Age of Calamity. This is the box that I gave myself to work within. And by the way, I'm going to just do a cheap plug here really quickly. This was kind of inspired in a big way by Other M, the Spiteri Cut, which I wrote for OmegaMetroid.com. We did a podcast episode on it, which is the same thing. We're rewriting a notoriously bad Metroid game using the same confinements, the same premise, and I made a killer story. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't feel as strongly about this story, but like I think it's pretty good.
Okay.
But here we go.
Right.
The premise of Age of Calamity. We are telling the canonical story, telling us what happened during the Calamity 100 years before the events of Breath of the Wild. A dark sage named Aster has teamed with the Yiga clan to take on the champions of Hyrule, led by Zelda, the princess who can't unlock her powers, while a mysterious time-traveling guardian arrives unexpectedly. That is our premise for Age of Calamity. And so, obviously, there are a bunch of problems that we need to solve. And the biggest one, as we said last week, is that the story as it is in Age of Calamity is not canonical. That is the single biggest problem that we need to solve. Obviously, we know that the 4 new champions, coming back in time, saving the day, going back off to some alternate reality where everything works out fine. The old champions haven't died. None of that happens. So we need to figure out a way to get to where we need to be. From a gameplay perspective, our problem is we're creating a game where ultimately our heroes lose and characters die. So how do we make a satisfying story and give it kind of that Nintendo happy ending at the end? That's another big problem that we're going to try and solve. Terrico, how do we work this guy in with his time traveling ability? I think a really easy answer to how to make Age of Calamity canonical is just to cut out time travel. Done. Easy. But I wanted to stay true to the spirit of Age of Calamity and Terrico, the time-traveling guardian. So I challenged myself to come up with a way to have time travel be a part of the story still and try and work that in. So how do we fix that? How do we rectify what we know is inconsistencies? Aster is another big problem. Who is this guy? He sucks in the game. Like, he's terrible. What's his relationship to the Yiga clan? What's his relationship to Ganon? Like, who is this guy? And then lastly, why is Koga a good guy in Age of Calamity, but then a bad guy in Breath of the Wild again? It seems like we're flip-flopping all over the place with Master Koga. So we're going to attempt to solve some of these problems in the Spiteri Cut. So Al, I'm going to start off chapter by chapter, and we'll kind of go from there. So maybe after we're done noteworthy chapters, because the first couple were just kind of setting things up, and I'm going to save some of the reveals and some of the surprises for later chapters, okay? But when you do have feedback, chime in, much like we did in Middle Earth, the podcast, when I pitched a Silmarillion movie. And at the end, we'll kind of deep dive into some different areas, and I'll tell you some of the areas that really gave me troubles, because this was not as easy to do as I actually thought. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Age of Calamity, the Spiteri Cut. Here we go. Chapter 1. The game starts off as it does, with everything happening the same. Everything is going down exactly the same as we see in the opening of Age of Calamity. Zelda's powers have awakened, the light spirit flowing through her body. Link is gravely injured in the fields of Fort Hateno, I believe. Wherever that scene takes place, where Zelda's powers finally awaken, and at the same time in Hyrule Castle. At the same time in a hidden lair. Okay, so this is a change. In a hidden lair, we see a small guardian named Teriko. We see this guardian wake up, and this guardian opens up a portal to travel back in time to a time before the calamity had actually happened. So Teriko is indeed traveling backwards through time. The game starts off as it does. King Rome is leading a company of soldiers fending off bokoblins, and this is where Link kind of like really breaks through and shows that he should be Zelda's chosen knight. Impa arrives with Sheikah research, and then bumps into Teriko, who then bumps into Zelda, and we have our coming together of all of these initial playable characters. So pretty much happening the same way as it did in the game. Robbie and Pyrrha are studying Teriko and confirm that we don't know how, we don't know why, but somehow people who are fighting beside Teriko are stronger. Magic is stronger. People's abilities are enhanced when they are in the general radiance or area of Teriko. We don't know how this happens, but we do know that somehow, in some way, Teriko has some sort of innate connection to all of the Sheikah technology around it. And in another scene, Teriko's arrival has triggered a mysterious figure also waking up from a long slumber in the same mysterious lair. Dun dun dun.
Oh,
dun,
okay.
Dun, dun, dun. That's chapter 1. Okay.
Okay.
Got it. Are we with it so far?
So you're saying that one of the changes is there's a layer that
Yes.
had two things in it. Okay.
Yes.
And one went back in time and somehow has a connection with these people and makes them stronger.
Yes. So Teriko in this instance is not in Zelda's room in Hyrule Castle. Teriko is in this hidden lair, which we will get to in a little bit, and Teriko goes back in time. Now,
Gotcha.
because when Teriko lands in let's call it Zelda's time, the Age of Calamity timeline there, that triggers this other mysterious figure to wake up from a stasis or a sleep of their own. And this mysterious
in the past or in the
present. In the present.
Okay, good.
So the present being like Zelda's current Age of Calamity timeline.
Right. Okay.
Not much of a spoiler to say that this figure is Aster. Okay?
Yeah. I gotcha.
So Aster has awoken up because and in the current time because Teriko is now here.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
Chapter 2. Again, this actually plays out pretty much identically as the game. Link is indeed chosen by King Rome. He's going to wield the Master Sword, and into the Lost Woods they go. And then the champions recruit Hestu, and their company grows in power. They're battling monsters. They're battling bokoblins. They're battling Stalnot, whatever. And Link here officially grabs the Master Sword to claim as the chosen knight. He is the hero that is going to wield this sword. I can't remember, maybe you can help me out, if in the game, this is where they formally become the champions, like the 5 of them in Zelda, or, because I know the ceremony is a little bit later, but I can't remember if they're officially dubbed the champions or not. Regardless, it's clear, like, this is the team that is going to be fending off evil.
Right. Yeah, I can't say I remember either, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Meanwhile, of course, Zelda cannot manifest her powers. She's trying everything. She is trying so hard, and she just can't get them to manifest, which does lead towards bitterness to Link, because here is this knight that is excelling and shining and has just grasped the Master Sword, and Zelda is struggling so mightily to manifest what she knows is her destiny and these powers that could potentially stop the calamity and save Hyrule. This also is leading to some extreme frustration on King Rome's part, who, again, much like the canonical story, is very frustrated with his daughter and thinks that you should be dedicating every single moment of your spare time to to studying how to unlock your powers and not wasting your time with these silly Sheikah contraptions. And one thing too, by the way, gameplay wise, I want to make a subtle shift here. So in the game, Link is definitely presented as your main character, let's just call it, right? Like he's kind of your de facto guy. We're going to switch that. Zelda is your main playable character. Like you start off playing as Zelda. You start out like she is the Link of this game and Link is the Zelda. So like they're both very important, obviously, but Zelda's number one in this game. Gotcha. This is a Zelda story. Okay. Terrako comes in and comforts Zelda, and then there's some dispute about this part actually, but so I'm gonna read you what I have, and then we can talk about it after. But so Terrako comes and plays Zelda's lullaby, and then shows her a projection, a memory almost that Terrako has, and this is a memory that Terrako has seen through its eyes as it was being created, and this memory shows Terrako being created in this secret lair. It doesn't quite show the builder, but it does show that Terrako was indeed manufactured in a lair for a very specific purpose. What that purpose is, we don't know yet, but this is as much as Terrako's memory can show us. Zelda takes the information to Pura, and they start investigating at once. Chapter 2, and... Oh, you know what? Oh my god, excuse me. That was chapter 3. I skipped chapter 2. Chapter 2 is basically we'll go back to chapter 2, sorry. They could take place in any order. But that was chapter 3. Okay. I'm so sorry. Let me go back to chapter 2. So chapter 2, this is like an exact copy of what happens in the game itself, where you just meet the 4 champions. You do their little trials. One adjustment actually that I did make though, which is a very well, maybe it's not a small adjustment, actually. So you see during the events of Urbosa's map, the party are attacked by the hulking leader of the Yiga clan, Master Koga, and his general Suga, who's kind of a weird little dude. So I'll say what I've done here is one of the problems that I had with Suga in the game is that this character just, because I correct me if I'm wrong, like I think the character lives through Age of Calamity, right?
He dies.
Does he? How does he die? I can't remember.
He does like a sacrifice move, if I remember right. He dies. Yeah.
Okay. The only thing that I've done that is any different from the game here, because like we're gonna see that the Yiga clan and the this mysterious figure, aka Aster, are working together. The only thing I've done is I've actually swapped Suga and Master Koga. So in my version, the Master Koga that we know is actually Suga. And the Suga that we know, the big hulking dude, he is the current leader of the Yiga clan, Master Koga. We've swapped him. Does that make sense?
That's why I was confused when you were like, and this little guy. I'm like, Suga is not little.
That's right. It's a little bit confusing, and I'm going to have some payoff to this a little bit later, because I think it'll just help build... Well, I think it'll help build to a moment that we want to go to, but chapter 2 is exactly the same. The only thing that we're going to change is that Suga and Koga are kind of like swapped at this point, and this mysterious figure says that his ultimate goal is retrieving the tiny guardian at all costs. So chapter 2 and chapter 3 basically happen like kind of in any different order here. So at this point, pretty much most of the game plays out exactly the same, with the only differences being that Terrako was created, woke up in a secret lair, traveled back in time, and Aster also woke up in the same secret lair and is now gunning to get Terrako. Terrako does have the ability to enhance people that are around him, their abilities and powers and everything like that. And the Yiga clan member leadership, Suga and Koga, have been switched. Other than that, we're basically the same story here. Chapter 4 is when we're really going to start to diverge, but chapter 1, 2, and 3 kind of get us to the same point, with a few tweaks there. Is there anything you want me to clarify, go over before we go to chapter 4?
No, I wanted to fact check myself. So Suga doesn't die. It appears like he does, but it's ambiguous. And then he is later seen fighting alongside the Hylian forces and appears in a post-game content and secret ending.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I remembered him doing a sacrifice move and dying, but it's ambiguous and he shows up later. So apologies for that. That's my bad.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, either way, I don't think it ultimately matters, but I did change it for some kind of reason here, which I'll get to in a second.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I'm tracking everything. I'm good.
Okay, chapter 4. This is where we really start to go off the rails here. So, and as a brief recap, so Link has the Master Sword. Our champions have kind of been, if not officially, then unofficially kind of anointed. And we know that something is going up with Terrako because we know that there's a grand, mysterious purpose to this small little guardian. So, we left off with Zelda taking the information to Pyrrha, who starts investigating into Terrako. And along the way, along our game, the champions recruit more allies, including the Great Fairies, Monk Maz Kashia, and the battle-tested Guardian to their cause. So they have these enemies, or they have these allies, rather, with them in the base game. So you could do the missions, you can have everything that you're going to do with them, etc., etc. Pyrrha is investigating the data from Terrako and finds tunnels, towers, and a large, mysterious area in Hyrule's underground, and they start to investigate all at once. Meanwhile, in a separate instance, the Yiga clan spies report this to Master Koga, who informs Aster, who we still have not really seen in this game. Like he's kind of like Darth Sidious at this point. Like he's cloaked. He's a mysterious guy. So he reports this information to Aster that they are going to, in fact, go and looking for all of this Sheikah technology that is underground. Aster instructs the Yiga clan to take them out, and then says, as a reward, I will show you where the remains of the Demon King are. That is why these guys are working together. At this time, Suga, aka Master Koga, is very untrustworthy, telling Aster that no mortal can control the power of the Demon King. It is not a power that is meant for mere mortals. But Master Koga, Suga in the story, goes along with this plan, and Suga, aka Master Koga, goes along with it reluctantly. Aster says Terrako is the key, and that raising the towers, exactly like they do in the game itself, raising the towers hidden beneath the ground are going to be a key part of the plan. And with it, they can rule Hyrule together. I had to refresh my memory on this, because there is a scene in Age of Calamity where the towers do come up, and this is kind of where the split between Aster and the Yiga clan happens in the game.
Okay.
Just for context here. So,
gotcha.
Back to the story. The Yiga clan, they attack the champions, but as in the real game, our heroes use Terrako to activate all of the Sheikah towers. And Terrako's innate ability to augment other people's powers allow Zelda and Pyrrha to build a device that has the same magical properties as Terrako, the Sheikah Slate. And now, using the slate, the party raises the towers from underground, and this exposes the Yiga clan, leaving them vulnerable, and our heroes attack. The Yiga clan takes monumental losses, and they are driven back. Now, here, Allison, is the moment where Aster finally reveals his true self to the champions and to the players as well. Aster is a Zonai, left in dormant sleep for thousands of years, hidden in his lair, the final divine beast, aka the laboratory where Terrako was created, and Aster slept in stasis for all of these years. This is indeed the same final divine beast that we see in the game, in the Champions Ballad, but we're giving it extra context, and we're giving it purpose, as we're going to get to in just a little bit. Terrako plays a memory that shows the backstory of Aster. And this doesn't necessarily have to be at this exact moment, but just to put it in there. Aster is a Zonai from the time of Rauru. He was expelled from the Zonai Order for his vicious experiments, and he was thought dead. He was thought to be gone and never heard from again. But in fact, Aster was hiding and biding his time, secretly working on new, ominous experiments. Aster created a Zonai device that required the skill and the knowledge that only he had, only Aster, the most genius yet flawed Zonai of all time, could put together. And this Zonai device was embedded into the very essence of Terraco, and this Zonai device was meant to mimic that of a secret stone. We can think of Terraco as an artificial secret stone that is in this little guardian right here. Aster betrays the Yiga clan, saying that they played their part perfectly and got all the towers raised up for him. And he kills Master Koga, aka Suga, in our timeline that we know, and abducts poor little Terraco in the midst of the conflict between the Yigas, the Yiga clan, and the champion, and he makes a beeline to Hyrule Castle. And that's where Chapter 4 ends. I'm sure you have a lot of questions.
I don't know if I have questions. I think I have... Because I tried to think of what I would do with Aster, and it is nothing like there. I don't even know. That is not where my brain went at all. Like, I wouldn't... No.
Okay, save that. We'll talk about it at the end.
Okay.
Your immediate gut feeling, though, to a new Zonai.
No.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I thought you would hate it, but I don't care. We're making Aster cool, and there is nothing that says that there can't be another Zonai. I have checked the lore and I've checked the facts, so let's just go with it. Okay.
Okay.
Here's where things get really, really dicey. Okay. Chapter 5, using the Sheikah Slate as a window into Terraco's memories and thoughts, Impa is able to see that the calamity happens on Zelda's 17th birthday in a few days. Because let's not forget, Terraco is from the time where the calamity is currently happening. Desperate to unlock her powers, the group splits up. Zelda, Link, and King Rome go to track Aster and retrieve the stolen Terraco, while the 4 champions go to their divine beasts and prepare for war. So we can have like a couple different maps, gameplay-wise here, where the 2 parties are kind of doing their own thing, and we can create levels and stuff like that. We can also make a scene somewhere. Maybe we just move the timing where Zelda goes to Mount Lanayru. I had it worked in here, but I moved it somewhere else, and I don't know exactly where it fits, but we can find a spot maybe to work it in somewhere in Chapter 4. I don't know. Anyways, so the group is split up. One half is going to chase Aster in Hyrule Castle. The other half is going to the Divine Beasts. The party of Link and Zelda and King Rome, and presumably Kashia and the Great Fairies and stuff, go to Hyrule Castle and confront Aster and learn of the Dark Zonai's master plan. The power of the Demon King is something that cannot be controlled by mortals, but Aster has built Terraco for this exact moment. Terraco can store the essence of Ganondorf's secret stone in his own artificial, quote-unquote, secret stone as well. The essence of the Demon King will become to be known, the ethereal malice cloud that will become to be known as Calamity Ganon. And so Terraco now has a new mission. And Terraco, by the way, is under kind of the dark influence of Aster, because Aster is Terraco's master. So when Aster is by Terraco, Terraco transforms into the dark version that we know as Harbinger, and he's corrupted with malice and whatever else is in there. So Terraco has one purpose: going to extract the essence from the sealed Demon King. And that essence, just to be clear, is that ethereal mist that will become known as Calamity Ganon. So Aster sends Terraco to do this, sends him to find the corpse of the Demon King. We know from Tears of the Kingdom that it's way underground beneath Hyrule Castle, and that Terraco is going to actually go to that staircase. But the players and us don't know this at the time of playing this game. So we're just in the lower levels of Hyrule Castle, and while Terraco is off doing this, Aster is going to essentially stall for him and confront the champions, and we're going to have a heck of a battle. Okay, so here we go. So we have a massive battle. Link, Zelda, Rome, Maz Kashia, the Great Fairies, the battle-tested Guardian, Hestu, all of them are going toe-to-toe with the Dark Zonai named Aster. And this guy is too powerful, and only through the timely sacrifice of King Rome are our heroes able to escape. And Terraco completes its mission, completes its objective, comes back with the essence of Calamity Ganon, or the essence of the Demon King, which would become Calamity Ganon, I guess we should say. So at this point, Aster flees, presumably to go back to his secret lair, aka the hidden final divine beast, and our heroes need to give chase. But at this point, Zelda and Link meet Suga, the small, goofy Yiga clan member who didn't really trust Aster in the first place. And Suga takes the mantle of Master Koga and says, I will help you destroy this guy who killed Master Koga and has took everything from the Yiga clan. And so now, the champions and the Yiga clan have a uneasy alliance to take down a common enemy in Aster. And they head to the final divine beast, while at the same time, our 4 champions are still battling their way to their divine beast to prepare for all-out war.
Okay.
Okay, you with it?
I'm here.
Okay, there's 2 chapters left.
Present.
Chapter 6 is where... Well, let's just go. Chapter 6. With the 4 champions battling armies of enemies leading into their divine beasts, they are still preoccupied, but eventually they do make it onto their respective divine beasts. At the same time, Zelda, Link, Impa, Koga, and company enter the final divine beast, where Aster has the essence of Ganon and the artificial secret stone of Terrico / Harbinger. After another battle, Aster is defeated, but this is where he finally reveals his ultimate gambit. Aster reveals that the final divine beast is actually a control center for all of the Guardians and Sheikah Tech, and with the artificial secret stone combined with the essence of Ganon, Aster is able to imbue himself with the essence of Ganon, even though he was warned no mere mortal can hold this power, but he does it anyways, and using this crazy, malicious Demon King power, Aster is able to take over every single bit of Sheikah technology. All of the Guardians, all of the Divine Beasts, all of the towers, they are all within Aster's control now. And Aster executes those things that are in his control. We switch over to the Divine Beasts, and now, all of a sudden, those Divine Beasts have malice everywhere in them. They've been taken over by Aster. Blights show up in the Divine Beasts, and we see the most tragic scene in the entire game. Our champions, Urbosa, Revali, Daruk, Mipha, are overwhelmed, and they go down fighting. They are no more. Meanwhile, in the final Divine Beast, Aster has imbued himself with the essence of Ganon, but this is no mere toy. This is not meant for mortals, and this is going right to Aster. This is like injecting yourself with the T-virus. It's just something you shouldn't do. And Aster is losing control. He's losing his humanity. He is just, everything he knows is just coming out of his head, and eventually Aster's like consciousness is almost no more. He's basically killed himself by trying to absorb this power of Ganon, and he turns into the very cool looking but unexplainable in Age of Calamity, like Calamity Ganon figure that's in Age of Calamity, the one that you can play as. Mm-hmm. So Aster is now in fact Calamity Ganon in that game. So for ease of access, I'm just going to refer to him as Calamity Aster from now, okay? Does that make sense?
Calamity Aster, got it.
Calamity Aster, yes. Okay. Now, there's a silver lining here. A small silver lining. Because Aster's humanity is gone, and he has now fully lost himself to the malice and to the hatred of the essence of Calamity Ganon, and transformed into Calamity Aster. This means that his grip over Terrico is gone, and the Terrico we know is back, albeit corrupted, maybe beyond repair. But our little guy, he's fighting with everything he's got. He is trying to go and stand up to his master, and he goes back and he fights alongside Zelda. And because Terrico has an innate ability to enhance the powers of everyone that he's around, what happens here, Al? One of the best moments of the entire game. A time warp is created, and instead of the new champions coming back in time, we have the old champions coming forward in time, by, I don't know, call it a day, a month, whatever. Those 4 new champions, or the 4 champions, so Daruk, Rivali, Mifa, Urbosa, they've come up and they're back. Even though they're doomed to die, they're back for right now. And they are going to help us just finally defeat Calamity Aster once and for all. A great battle ensues in the final Divine Beast, and our heroes prevail. However, everything is now truly too late. Because of what Aster has done, the Calamity is in full force. It's on. It's happening. And you could argue, is it happening because Terrico went back in time and started all this? Nobody knows. But whatever has happened, has happened. And Aster flees the final Divine Beast. Calamity Aster flees the final Divine Beast, and our heroes rush out to the surface as well, where finally our final confrontation is going to be had as we get to Chapter 7.
Okay.
Chapter 7. The Calamity is happening. The Shikatek has gone rogue. The 4 champions, while technically here, have been killed. And the strength of Zelda's powers is being augmented by Terrico, but Terrico has been potentially fatally influenced by all of this malice. Zelda says, things could not be worse right now than in this moment. And all of a sudden, you hear a voice, goofy and ridiculous, that says, like, I don't know about that. I think things could be worse. And all of a sudden, the Yiga clan ends their temporary alliance with our heroes. The Yiga clan is after the Calamity all along. They think that this means that the Demon King is coming back. And so this alliance of convenience, it's over. It's over. And now our heroes have lost one of their strongest allies. And so the battle is now on between the new Master Koga and the champions. While this is happening, our heroes are going to fend off the Yiga clan, and they retreat for another day. But they do this because there is an army of guardians coming in. And here we see the same scene play out that we do in the game. And we're going to use some careful camera work here to not show the other champions in these shots, okay? But we're going to see right outside, and again, fact check me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's Fort Ateno. Fort Ateno, Link is battling. He's battling the Guardians, and the rest of the team is off camera fighting the Yiga clan. So it's just Link and Zelda. They're battling the Guardians, and Link, he's trying, and he goes down. He goes down, and this is where Zelda finally unlocks her divine powers. Zelda's super powerful. She forces back the Guardians. The Yiga clan retreats, and so our heroes are left there with Link down, and all of a sudden, Calamity Aster is back for one final battle in the fields of Fort Hateno. And this is a being that has completely lost its mind. And even though Calamity Aster's pull over Terrico is great, and the corruption Aster has used on Terrico continues to grow, continues to grow the closer that Aster is. Our heroes, they persevere. There's a final battle, and the heroes are victorious. Calamity Aster is ultimately, finally defeated once and for all. And the threat of Aster is gone. Terrico is corrupted beyond all repair, and Impa has a suggestion. Because we know that somehow, some way, because of the essence of Ganon that is inside of Terrico, we know that he is connected to the Calamity. And Impa suggests that the last thing that Terrico can do is maybe use its abilities to enhance Zelda's time travel abilities, and maybe we could put a stasis on this spreading of the Calamity here, and the most powerful place to do this would be inside of Hyrule Castle. And so here we have an emotional scene. What Impa is suggesting is that Zelda and Terrico seal themselves off for as long as it takes for our hero Link, barely alive, but still kicking. Impa suggests that they seal themselves off and put the Calamity on stasis until Link can one day wield the Master Sword and come and fight for the land of Hyrule again. And Terrico, even though he knows that this will be his demise, plays Zelda's lullaby as if to sign off on this plan. And so the 4 champions, we have an emotional moment. they say goodbye to Zelda and they say, this is a plan that can work. We have to slow the calamity. And if we have to go back in time and meet the same fate as we met to buy you that time, we will do so. So they do indeed go back to their original time, which is a day, a month, whatever, before they were pulled through, and they meet their demise in the hands of the Divine Beast. Zelda and Link go to Hyrule Castle, and Zelda says to Terrako, who is corrupted almost beyond repair, says, like, thank you for this. Terrako, with his secret stone powers, augments Zelda's time powers. They're able to heal, to freeze themselves in stasis. Okay? And that's the end of their story. They're frozen, and that explains, by the way, why Calamity Ganon in Breath of the Wild is this weird hulking machine, because it's actually now monstrous transformed Terrako, who is our poor little guy, who's now just like that weird mechanical Calamity Ganon. Monk Mask Kashia vows to stay in the final Divine Beast and guard it from anyone else that might think to cause harm. The Great Fairies in Impa take Link to the Shrine of Resurrection. Hestu returns the Master Sword to the Lost Woods. And that is where our game ends. Except for one small post-credit scene where deep in the caverns below Hyrule Castle, we see a flashback of Terrako, the dark possessed version of Terrako known as Harbinger, extracting the essence of the Demon King to use to augment Astra's powers. And because of this, the seal is now leaking, and we see green, swirling mist pouring up that will eventually, over time, build up to the Demon King's eventual return. And that is the end of the story. So I have a few notes that I want to touch on here, and a few acknowledgements as well, because there are some parts that, granted, aren't perfect, but there we go. That is my pitch for the canonical version of Age of Calamity. Allison, your immediate thoughts?
My immediate thoughts is none of that is canonical. I mean, I don't want to sit here and just like rip apart. I think like the way I can see you putting this together is you're like, I want something to be as epic and like emotional as it was in Age of Calamity, because that's what we got. We did get something really epic, just like, even though it was like outside of the realm of anything that actually happened, you know, it was still epic. It was still a good story. So I could see you like trying to fill those shoes. I just, in my mind, I had an idea. I just wouldn't have gone anywhere near that. Like, to have an extra Zonai, to have the secret stones even in existence yet. Especially at this point when we have Age of Calamity, we don't know about any of that stuff, right?
So we as a player, we don't know. You're right. But there's nothing that says that like any of what happens couldn't canonically be possible.
Well, I mean, you have the start of Tears of the Kingdom where Zelda's like, whoa, look at all this Zonai stuff. I've only read about this. Like, you would think she would tell you, oh, I fought a Zonai guy 100 years ago.
Well, okay, but like, I don't know. I don't think that's a big deal. I think you can get around that.
Oh my god, Andy.
She could just say, like, I'm studying the Zonai, you know? Maybe she doesn't even know what a Zonai... Maybe she doesn't even know that Astor is a Zonai at that point. Maybe she just thinks he's like a weird monster. She doesn't know what a Zonai looks like.
Yeah, if you're confirming that, like, they don't know that he's a Zonai, then okay. I can give you that.
Let's go with that, yeah. Like, I don't... yeah, maybe she doesn't know. And maybe, like, when she... I mean, like, this is, again, kind of tinkering around with Tears of the Kingdom, but, like, maybe when she goes down and sees, like, the murals down there, she's like, oh my goodness, that looks familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, like, you could make an argument, like, would it make, you know, like, would she then say to Rauru in Tears of the Kingdom, like, I've seen someone like you before? Yeah, you probably could make that argument, but I don't know. It's the movies, okay?
Or, like, is Aster there when she goes back in time and we're going to see Age of Imprisonment?
Yeah, maybe,
like,
yeah.
Aster there.
Maybe. That could be something, too. That could be something, too. So again, like, there's some holes in here, I will admit, for sure. And actually, there's one in particular that I struggled with, but...
What I really appreciated, even though I disagree, is that you were trying to give purpose to everything being corrupted, and you gave it to Aster. You gave Aster the ability to corrupt all the Guardians, all the Divine Beasts, because that's something that doesn't make sense to you with Calamity Ganon.
Yes.
And so you gave that a purpose. And I appreciate that about your cut here.
I thought it was cool to like give some sort of purpose to the final divine beast too, because we don't really know what it is.
Mhm.
It's just like, well, actually, we don't know what it is. Like, like I thought, like maybe maybe if we could like work it into some sort of explanation, that could be something. So that's one part that I actually think works really well in this story.
I mean, the final divine beast was just built as a test for the hero with the sword. That's what we know about it.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe that shifted over time. Like we don't know, but maybe Monk Maskashia turned into that. But I wanted to give that a little bit more purpose as well. Any other things that you just think are egregious?
Not really. I feel like like I said, I feel like I understand your purpose for all this, and it's mostly to get the corruption out there. I disagree. I know how I feel like I understand how the corruption happens, and you don't agree with that, and that's fine. So, like, to me, this story that you've come up with, I feel like it makes sense coming from Andy Spiteri. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
like I don't like it, but like
Cut.
I know, but it just like it makes total sense coming from you because I could see the last like 8 years of your brain putting this together.
Well, actually, I put this together on Wednesday night at about.
No,
10:30.
I mean like all these thoughts that
Yes,
you've had of
yes.
Breath of the Wild since it came out, going into this is what I'm saying.
Yes. So there's definitely some like unhinged reveals in here, right? Like I think
Right.
Aster as a Zonai is pretty wild, but like again, I don't think there's anything that says that can't happen canonically. Yeah, you might have to stretch things a little bit for sure. I'll give you that, but like there's nothing that's like we know, or at least we think we know that Rauru and Minoru are the last Zonai, but like that's according to them, we think, right? Like.
Mm-hmm.
So there could be more out there. And granted, like yes, like Zelda not recognizing them is maybe like a hurdle. I'll give you that. But I also think like there's nothing to say that like the secret stones, like we don't know about them at this time, but they clearly exist, right? Like they're clearly like Ganondorf has one and he's sealed right now. I did have to be talked down of originally I had it as like a straight up like an artificial secret stone that like Aster just built himself, and I had to be talked down to like creating a Zonai device that mimicked a secret stone as well, and I thought that it would be cool to like make that a part of Terrico as well.
Okay.
I will say I really struggled with the Yiga clan. I really did.
Okay, so I have a thought.
Yes.
About the Yiga clan and Aster. So my thought was the Yiga clan started because of all these people in the Sheikah clan who were fed up with the Kingdom of Hyrule treating them so poorly and not trusting them, right? And so they defect and they create their own thing.
Yeah.
I think that there needs to be a guy that like encourages them, takes advantage of the vulnerable, and creates this group. And I thought that could be Aster. Like he could create this cult, you know, that follows Ganon, the Demon King, and he's the cult leader, and he's really just getting all these people together for his ultimate sacrifice, which he does in the game to bring back the Blights.
Yeah, you know,
And
maybe we could see a flashback of Aster doing this in like Rauru's time, because the Yiga clan existed back then, right?
I can't remember. I don't know if it. I would have to think hard about that one.
Okay.
Because again, I don't even know if the Sheikah are around, because basically the Sheikah and the Kingdom of Hyrule worked together like initially with the very, very first Calamity, right? That's post Age of Imprisonment. And then they reject the Sheikah clan. The Kingdom of Hyrule is like, we're scared of your technology, go over there. Yeah. And that's what pisses the people that eventually become the Yiga clan off. They're like, oh, we don't like that. That's rude. Which is understandable. It is rude. But like, and then eventually the Sheikah and the Kingdom of Hyrule come back together, and that's great. But like, they're still the defectors of the Yiga clan. So I'm saying that maybe Aster is the one who sets the Yiga clan up, or maybe like, yeah, he could be a never living whatever, and he's like a sorcerer and can make himself survive forever, you know. So. Yeah. He's the cult leader, but really he's just trying to get the power to bring back the Blights. And that in the end is what goes to kill the champions. So I'm just giving him more of a background and a purpose. He still does all the same stuff he does in Age of Calamity, but like we literally don't know anything about this guy. He just comes out of anywhere and like, I'm just going to team up with the Yiga clan and they'll give me what I want. Instead, I think he starts the Yiga clan and he still gets what he wants.
Yeah, I wonder if like you
mine
could
was like way more simple.
Okay. Well, let's talk. Let's talk through this a little bit first. Like, I wonder if you could do like a memory system almost, where like you show Aster's movements over the past like couple thousand of years or whatever. Where like it can show him at one point forming the Yiga clan. It can show him at one point setting up some different pieces or creating Terrico or like accruing the knowledge to do that. I wonder if that could be something like as a little bonus or whatever have you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I the thing I struggled the most with was like after the Yiga clan turned and joined forces with Zelda, why would they turn again back,
So
right?
I feel like I disagree with Age of Calamity about the turn. So the big turning point for Koga, right, was because of Aster's betrayal, and he
Yeah,
kills so many of the Yiga clan
right.
to get what he wants, and I can understand that. But when you play Tears and the way Koga talks about the revival of the Demon King, he literally doesn't care who lives or dies. He's just like, I want this guy back so he can destroy the world, and I'm like, that's a very like finite, like a very specific focus. Like I don't
Hmm.
feel like you would have a change of heart about your own henchmen if Ganon's going to be at the end game, which is what Aster wanted. So like if Koga was like, yeah, that made sense for him to sacrifice all my guys just so I can get the Demon King back. Like that to me makes more sense for Koga's character based on what we've seen from Tears
Hmm.
than what we get in Age of Calamity. So I'm like, yeah, it is kind of weird that
Yeah.
like I can understand him being mad that all his folks were but like let go, but he loves the Demon King so much that like why not, you know?
So Nicole had a good suggestion actually because I this is the one I was like struggling with the most and I
Mm-hmm.
tried like I was kind of like you could do the turn, the writing would just have to be really good, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Nicole had kind of suggested like maybe there's tension between Suga and Master Koga. And again, it's confusing because they're swapped in the Spiteri Cut. But maybe there's
Mm-hmm.
tension between them where Suga believes that he is the better leader. He's more committed to the Demon King. And and the team up with our heroes was just a means to an end to revive him. And I think that could work really well. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think you just have to like write that into Koga's like kind of speech when he's betraying the champions in chapter 7. Because like it should be a pretty big and powerful moment. But I do have some notes that I just want to go over really quickly. So so number one, like I think that like we have clearly made the story canonical. Like, is there some things that bend the canonicity? I don't know if that's a word. There's some things that bend it, but I don't think anything is broken. Like I think everything that happens in this version of events can still happen. Um, so there's nothing that there could be. There's nothing saying there can't be any Zonai that we don't know about, nor that secret stones couldn't be created through Zonai devices. Because I mean, they had to be created eventually, somehow, some way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there's also additional context given to the final divine beast, and I actually was like kind of not like happy, but like I did want to give like context to like what is that thing you fight in Breath of the Wild that's Calamity Ganon, because it's just like a guardian basically, like that's what it looks like to me. So I
Oh, okay. Yeah,
like
yeah.
in when you
I
actually
understand.
fight it. So I was like,
Yeah.
maybe it could be Terrico. Like maybe that's kind of like a nice send off for it, kind of like a sad moment too, because then when you play Breath of the Wild, you're like, oh man, this is actually like the corrupted, awful version of Harbinger, aka Terrico, that did its part in sealing itself with Zelda for 100 years until Link
Mm-hmm.
was kind of ready to go. Um, I think that I think that by bringing back the old champions after they've died, you can still have a happy ending, and then they can have kind of like a Midna moment at the end of the game too, where they go back, the mirror is broken, you're never going to see them again, and they know that they're going to meet their untimely demise. So like I think it's kind of the best of both worlds, where like you can still get that moment of like, oh my god, they're dead, like that's horrible, like I feel so bad, but you can also have a happy ending in terms of your game too, with kind of a traditional Zelda emotional goodbye at the end of the game. So I thought that
Mm-hmm.
that worked well. Now, granted, in the Spiteri Cut, you could not play as Link for the final battle because Link is basically dead at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm willing to go with that.
Okay. I feel like there might be a couple tweaks to the end two chapters that I would personally make just so that it does feel, because in my mind I feel like the end two chapters take it outside of the realm of canon, but there would be tweaks that I would make so that you could keep your Aster plot, and that would be like when he goes to consume the energy, the essence of
Mm-hmm.
of the Demon King, it just kills him and is released the calamity, like the big cloud of the pig cloud.
That's kind of what I wanted. Like when he takes it, like I not kills, but transforms him into like Calamity Ganon.
I just think
and then it goes out.
I just don't even think Calamity Aster is a thing. I think he just dies. He can't handle it. His body can't handle it. Nothing. And then that way you get the scene of the pig cloud above the castle swirling. Everybody's freaking out. You have your corruption that you wanted from the final divine beast, and then you have your battle in the Hateno field. But like it's just the guardians that they're fighting in the cutscene. So I feel like those are just the things they're just overwhelmed, and that in Breath of the Wild that's what we see kill Link. They're overwhelmed, right. And then Zelda activates
and to be
her
clear
power,
like
so.
that's the same, like the guardians take out Link. I just
don't think you have that final battle with Calamity Aster. I just think that's the part where it kind of starts to move away from.
I think you gotta have like a final battle with like some sort of. I personally like. I actually don't like mind what your suggestion is. Like I would roll with that if everyone kind of agreed. But I don't mind like because Aster is basically dead as soon as he takes the power, right? But like I don't mind like the physical, like his body is now a vessel for Calamity Ganon, and I don't mind that. And it also gives context to like why there's that really cool looking physical body of Calamity Ganon in Age of Calamity, because that's just not really explained ever.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those things in my mind where I'm like, the easy way out is just to get rid of that. But if you keep that, then maybe like the essence destroys Aster entirely and just like remains in the Terrico corruption and like takes over that, right? Because that's what it does to Harbinger. So then you have your Harbinger Ganon. That's what it's called in Age of Calamity, I think. So then you have your Harbinger Ganon. You could fight that, but again, like maybe when you fight the Harbinger Ganon and it's just difficult because like all the cutscenes that we see in Breath of the Wild of Zelda activating her power and then going off to the castle to face the cloud pig, it doesn't line up with what you're saying. So like her sacrifice to like go and seal Terrico at the end, like that's just not what happens. So that's where I'm like, this is where we're getting into territory where it's just not canon.
Well, like you don't see it, but I don't think that means it couldn't have happened either. You
literally see her walk up to the castle. The pig comes flying down at her, and she lifts her hand to seal it. That's what you see.
You know what? You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm like struggling with.
Maybe we can make some tweaks there, and then at the end, you're right.
So we can make tweaks, but like I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. I think we have a good framework, anyways, for it.
The constructy look of Calamity Ganon.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying there in Breath of the Wild.
Maybe Aster can die, and it's just like this thing just like forms out of malice.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm with you. I kind of like the idea of it being Aster just to have like a final battle, but if that's like if that's a sticking point between canonical and non-canonical, I'm willing to let that go.
Yeah.
I thought
the idea of his hubris destroying him. Like he's like, I can totally. Yeah, I like that a lot more.
He's like a mad scientist in my version, not a fortune teller.
Yeah.
I thought that Terrico was strong in the Spiteri Cut here. I combined Harbinger and Terrico into one, kind of like Jekyll and Hyde.
I see what you're saying.
Which I think is good. The time travel was definitely like a problem, and the easy solution would be just to get rid of it. But I did just want to keep to the spirit of like Age of Calamity. So I wanted to include that, and I think this was about the best that it could be. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You got something out of it.
I mean,
it's kind of like what you said about the Silmarillion movies when we did those episodes where it was like if we like put our minds together and kind of tweak it in different ways, I think we could make it work.
Yeah. And then, like there's definitely going to be some concessions to make too.
Right.
Like, not everything is going to be like, oh great. I will say Aster is way cooler in the Spiteri Cut. I'm just going to definitively say that. Aster was so awful in Age of Calamity, and now he's like he's a cool mad scientist Zonai who's been banished from his own clan, long thought dead. He has an actual death, and it makes sense why we don't hear about him really in Breath of the Wild. Maybe Tears of the Kingdom a little bit less so, but like Breath of the Wild, you can totally get away with not having heard about him. Yeah. Koga, I think, was the one big struggle that I had, but I think that we kind of came up with an okay solution, like maybe...
I like him turning on them in the end.
Yeah, I thought so too. I didn't know how else to do it. And I was like, I think it would be a cool moment if Zelda's just like, things couldn't be worse. And then you just hear him in his goofy trademark voice. It's like, oh, I think they can. and like then you have, you know what I mean, like that moment,
Like
and
Hondo and Naka.
yeah,
Like I could see like it with my thing with the cult, like them being mad, like okay, yeah, you just killed a bunch of my henchmen, now I'm mad. But then like when maybe they see the pig cloud and they're like,
yeah,
oh wait, there was a purpose. Just kidding, Zelda. All hail the pig cloud, you know.
yeah, yeah. So a few things that I do. Oh, and by the way, so you're right. Like I obviously fixed a couple of the things that stuck in my craw about Breath of the Wild, where
Right.
possession of the guardians, divine beasts, etc. But one of the things that I also really don't love about Breath of the Wild is that it doesn't like really give you that send off for the four champions either. Like they kind of like die off screen, and you never. I guess like for me, I'm just like not to sound morbid, but like it's like a really heroic moment that happens, and you don't get to see it. Like imagine if you're watching Fellowship of the Rings, and you get to the end and there's Boromir and he's on the ground with arrows in him, and you don't see him fighting off and defending Merry and Pippin.
Right. Okay,
you know what I
see
mean?
what you're saying. Yeah, I thought you were going to talk about like how maybe they don't get like send off like closure, which they totally do in Breath of the Wild. So I get what you mean. Like you don't, and I agree with that. That was something that I was like, not to sound bad, but like that was something I was looking forward to. I wanted to see their fight. I wanted to see their sacrifice in the divine beasts against the blights, and even in Age of Calamity, you kind of get that a teeny tiny bit, but then the new champions come and save them. So it was like completely blown out of the water, and yeah, just not left a bad taste in my mouth and all that kind of stuff. I would have loved to see that too, even though it's sad. Like I wanted that sad emotion. I wanted to feel that.
Yeah.
I wanted, because that's what the connection I had to these characters. I wanted to feel that deep connection with them and be sad that they died.
Totally. Now here's the thing, because I know that people are gonna call me a hypocrite for this, because last week I was saying like that sucks that like after Zelda made this big moment, all of a sudden she's just back to, you know,
right.
so I think that there's a fair critique there. Like we just saw these characters die, and now all of a sudden they're just back. Like they're coming forward through time, but yeah. I do think it's different because like they have to go back and they have to meet that same fate. So like you get a happy ending, but like you know it's only they're like temporary. They're there literally on borrowed time.
Well, what was your purpose in bringing them back again? Because I think I would just cut that.
So basically back, like instead of Terrico bringing the new champions
right
from the future into the present, we're bringing back the old champions from the past like into the present. And to help fight the final battle, which I think is like fine. I think you could still do that, and it makes sense because like Zelda has her time abilities and Terrico's augmenting those. So like you could explain it, and then like it makes sense for them to go back into their time, and like they're like the only way that we can slow the stop of the calamity is to have like the events play out and to have Zelda kind of put Calamity Ganon in stasis here. So like we have to do our parts and we have to go into this knowing that like we're gonna get overwhelmed.
Yeah, I just think like if we go back to the fact that we might be cutting some things from chapter 6 and 7 to make it a little bit more canonical with the cloud versus instead of like Calamity, Aster, and stuff. I just don't know if there's really a purpose to bringing them back at all. I think they just die and they stay dead because the ultimately everybody still loses. So like why put the hope that them coming from the past? Like, I feel like that would put hope in the player that, they could still win.
I think you have to look at it, too. Like, this is still a video game, and, like, now you're going to be losing, like, 5 of your big playable characters in, like, the last couple chapters. So, like, I think, like, that's not an insignificant reason. Okay, I see what you're saying there. Okay. So I feel like I would go with that. Actually, and on that note about the video game, so we are playing a video game. So because we're losing 4 playable characters in Teba and Riju, Yunobo, and Sidon, I think that we need to replace them in the game. And so Aster, I feel like, is just like such a obvious and easy addition. Like you play as Zonai Aster, you can make like, I don't know, constructs or like, I don't know, whatever. Like he's just a cool playable character, and he's unlocked at like the end of the game and just kind of like a bonus character. I think that you could just include Suga, Robbie, and Pura, the battle-tested Guardian, in the base game and not the DLC. And I was like, well, then what do you do for the DLC? And I was like, wouldn't it be funny if for the DLC they released a what-if version of events of Age of Calamity? What if the Calamity didn't happen, and now you have Riju and Sidon and the company as playable characters, and you get the Age of Calamity story in this DLC, and it's all one big circle of life. So there you go.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, the what if version, that's fun.
Yeah.
Because that's what this game as a whole feels like.
That's what it was. It was what if. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the Spiteri Cut. Definitely some. Certainly some areas that could be ironed out. I won't pretend to be like the lore master or anything like that. I had a few people help out, but I think it was just for general flow and stuff like that. So if there's any issues with continuity or canonicalness, like they are mine alone. So but yeah, I think we have like a really good framework here. Like the last couple chapters, you're probably right. There's some tweaks there that could be made, but I think it's a cool story. I like what we did with Aster. I like what we did with Terrico. I like what we did with the final Divine Beast. I like bringing the old champions forward through time, and I like that they get like a good send off. And I think it augments Breath of the Wild a little bit as well.
Mm-hmm. I say overall, since we talked through a few things, I feel better about it. There's still some things where I'm like the corruption, like let's say Aster's destroyed when he tries to take the essence, and then the corruption just goes off on its own and corrupts everything. Corrupts the Divine Beast, corrupts the whatever, because that's kind of essentially what happens initially. And then like if you change yeah, like how the sealing happens at the end, like great. I feel like overall you're right. Like it could be a good base and we could tweak things and play with it and have fun with it.
I actually I feel like I'm totally fine with like the sealing. I want to maybe tweak, but I am still fine with like events playing out. Like Aster takes it, he's transformed. The Divine Beast is like the engine for all this Sheikah tech, and like that's how the infection spreads. I'm fine with that.
There's no, never mind. I'm okay with that. Yeah, overall I think like it's something that I could see, but yeah, it definitely needs some tweaking. We got to get some other voices in here.
Are you buying the Spiteri Cut?
Oh, this is so hard.
Okay, this is a full retail price game too, okay?
Yeah, let me pretend to go back in time.
Yeah.
To the days before I knew what Age of Calamity was meant to be. I would say yes.
Okay. Well, let me put it this way. You've bought this game for full price and you get this story. Are you disappointed, and do you feel as cheapened as you do after playing? Really? Still? Even though it's all canonical?
Well, so we've already established that some of it isn't. So
there's like, okay, there's a tweaking for the ending and how Zelda gets sealed, but like let's just say that we fix that.
I would feel weird about the final Divine Beast. I don't really like the champions coming back or going forward in time. I don't really like that. So I would feel like kind of the same bit of like about it with the new champions going back in time, you know? Mm-hmm. I just want to see them die.
Okay.
Because that's so hard to ask.
Knowing the context that we're working with, so it's the same premise, there's going to be time travel. Are you more or less disappointed with this story versus the Age of Calamity story? Knowing the limitations that we work with.
Less, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Like, I think that's the point of this, is we're trying to find ways where we would appreciate what happened more, and at least we're trying to stick to the canon as much as we can. I appreciate that effort. And so, yeah, it's definitely less, way less than what they gave us in Age of Calamity.
Okay, perfect. Okay, the success. And like, I mean, like, you can only do so much.
I don't like things. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just because I don't like some of the ideas doesn't mean like it still would have been better. Like, you know.
That's the thing. Like I said, like the Metroid Other M rewrite was actually significantly easier because there wasn't like time travel to consider, and there wasn't, you know what I mean? Like there wasn't like a game that had established kind of canon. It was more of like just a story rewrite using the same parameters. This one I thought was tough.
Yeah.
And like
it's definitely tough.
There's even some things like in the Spiteri Cut that like I don't love personally either, but like because they happen in Age of Calamity, I was like, well, how can we make them happen or happen in a different way in here that is true to the spirit of what Age of Calamity was trying to be. So I think like on a general level, like I just kind of inherently disagree with the spirit of what Age of Calamity was trying to be, which I think you kind of fall into as well, but yeah, I don't know. We'll have to get some feedback for how we can fix this. I will say when I messaged Nicole, I was like, I don't know if the ending quite sticks the landing, but we could work on it. We can work on it.
Okay, there you go.
So there it is. Any final thoughts? You had a little bit of an Aletha cut, didn't you? Or did you?
I already gave it to Nicole, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was basically all the same. It's just giving Aster more of a background and like more of a purpose.
Okay. I think we could do that in our game.
And
too.
Also no time travel. Just get rid of that. Like
well, yes. Like that's the easy like option.
I know, but like and then the fact that we're going to get sages in this new game and it seemingly additional race characters like sidekicks maybe. Like, we could have just done something like that. We didn't need to have the... Anyways, that's neither here nor there now. So, yeah, that's how I feel.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, like, yeah. I don't disagree. I do, like, at the same time, I want to be realistic. This is a Nintendo game. They typically have happy-ish endings. How can we get there? I don't know. I think this is about the best that we can.
We got another game that's meant to be sad, so let's see how that goes with Nintendo.
Is it meant to be sad though? Maybe it's not. Like maybe the good guys kind of win at the end. I don't know. They seal Ganondorf.
They'll win 10,000 plus years later. But like they're gonna. It's kind of like when at the end of The Hobbit, like the dwarves win, right? They win the day. So the elves and the men, they all win the day, right? But they're still like devastated because they lost their like royal line, you know, and lots of lives were lost. Like that's the ending I want. Sure, you won the day, you won the battle, but the war isn't over and you lost a lot of lives.
You did lose a lot of lives. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is. Age of Calamity, the Spiteri Cut. Let me know what you think. Is this better or worse than the story that we got in Age of Calamity? Is what I want to know. And if you bought this game and you got this story instead of the one in Age of Calamity, would you feel more or less ripped off and cheesed? Those are the questions. The question isn't, is the story good? The question is it better than what we got, okay?
I love that.
The
bar is in hell.
The story is as good as it can be, okay? There's a certain level where it can hit max, and there's probably some room in the meter above that level, but that's what we're working with. Okay, Al, anything you want to add before we get on out of here?
No, I'm good. All
right, then. Let us know over in Discord. Let us know over on Blue Sky what you think of this. At Spiteri316, at Allison Aletha, at the Zelda Cast. Give us your ideas if you have some kind of cool ideas. Now we want to keep it kind of the same, but if you have tweaks about how we can make this flow a little bit better, let's come up with something together. I'm going to give a preemptive go to hell, Corey. I know he's coming in Discord, so I'm just getting it out of the way right now. And that, my friends, is going to do it for us. So until next week, we do want to remind everybody, check us out wherever you get your podcast. Like and subscribe and recommend, rate, review, all that fun stuff. And, hey, we have a Patreon, too, if you really want to take your Zelda Cast love to the next level. Patreon.com/SPNet. New episodes of the Zelda Cast XL have just dropped in the last couple of weeks. So go and check those out. Me and Goo doing our thing. Check us out over on YouTube, by the way, Zelda Dungeons YouTube page. If you want to see these episodes in full video form, you can see Al and I twinning with our glasses today. And I think that's it, guys. So only a couple of weeks until Age of Imprisonment is here. So we'll see what that story's looking like and if that needs a Spiteri cut. So until then, everybody, take care.
Hey.
Hey everyone! If you enjoyed this clip and want to see more of the Zelda Cast, make sure to head over to your favorite podcast platform of choice and subscribe. There are over 200 episodes in the vault that will provide you with hundreds of hours of Zelda content for you to enjoy. You can listen to us when you're on a walk, fighting Ganon, trying to sleep, whatever. And if you want to see these shows as they happen, make sure to head over to twitch.tv/the Zelda Cast, where you can watch our beautiful faces talk about Zelda every single week. Don't miss out, and we'll see you next time.